So, for my 5D mystics, something interesting happened. I was sharing a little bit extra information on the short that I did a little while back. And you know how we have those things, the synchronicities, the like nudging of the universe? So I was like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I should not post that one. I should do a retake of it. So I'm doing a retake. I assume that the reason is because there's no need to continue expanding on what I was sharing about in the short, and instead to focus my attention on describing to you all how, for a 5D mystic, moving beyond spirituality is not about us dismantling that which is a belief system for others or dismantling it in the way that it can affect our lives. We go through a variety of expansion of consciousness of the self of you, and the religious self is one of those that supports any person, because we've had religion and spirituality for eons besides that plane of shared consciousness, right? Holding and storing information. But let's not get ungrounded. Let's try and stay here as we look to the fact that we have subject matters, right? We have subject matter experts, we have books that have been written, we have paintings. It's easy to stay grounded while alchemizing, if you will, and being able to understand that science is magic that works. And so that energy, and energy that flows, and the sphere of, again, consciousness is something that doesn't require these stories anymore. Meaning we still have stories, but now we have sciences that can describe what's happening in the brain and how to integrate our brain, what's happening in our body and how to move into restorative embodied. And actually the ascension energies, I've noticed it for a while already. And then once I started to become trauma informed, I realized that my gut, which had been telling me something's up with this ascension energies, the 4D keeps saying DNA upgrades, but they don't really get it, because I don't see people moving into becoming more of their self immediately. I see people going through different stuff. Okay, so right now the shift that took place did settle in clarity and choices for those who wanted to move into our expanded plane, and those who are going to consistently stay within what I'm going to say is a rigid mind that harnesses a pain point. They have their silverback, and all together they go and they will find their breadcrumb of trails. They already have them, and they're going to continue to voice their stories. For 5D mystics, on the other hand, with clairs, we get to do something different, because there's not any spiritual warfare going on. There's the expansion of consciousness of our lovely human species. And it's beautiful to see Reiki, CAM, holistic, and more come together with the sciences. So seeing our sciences learn to embrace what they had discarded for some time due to ignorance. It's nice to see our mental health professionals explain more of how we can all have heaven in our body to move into a restorative embodied self, because of being able to build relationships that are going to be built with those 5D Zen masters, the functional adults, the mystics, the people who know compassion, because we have a whole 3-year-old heart. And when you have an integrated brain and a restorative embodied self, even if you're in the presence of a 4D mystic, 4D person, 3D person, or another soul age group, because yes, that's right, the Enlightenment soul age group is where there's an infinite higher human conscious potential experience. So you relate to people differently, not because there's more or less. It's just because people who limit how far they will look into how beautiful different subject matters are and different ways of life are, they're going to be limited. So people have been demonizing artificial intelligence, technology, everything that's online, and it just keeps getting worse Those groups are led with their silverbacks, and their common denominator is essentially because technology is a machine, and now though artificial intelligence is becoming energy and they're making it, now we have a threat going on, spiritual warfare it is. It's like, okay, wait, what are you talking about? Don't you know that we are the ones who, with a rock and with a stick, we evolved to make fire? Like, do you not understand the basics of high school or middle school? Like, did you not go to school? What was your education? Do we need to look at you and remind you? And I'm not saying looking at you, I'm thinking right now the flat earthers, they have degrees. I have a master's. Okay, so my thought is, how do we have people out there that don't realize what they're doing? Okay, as I said, mystic here. Clairs. I have beautiful, beautiful clairs. I love alchemy. I love reading tarot and Akashic record readings, and I love knowing about my oversoul, and I love all of my oversoul. So this is where this one's going to share a little bit more of that, because the point is the 5D mystic is going to know something's off with the 4D mystics, because they are essentially becoming fanatics and extremists, and they're all over the place. And it's like, you really need to allocate your information, please, which would be that neuroscience, trauma-informed experts, mental health community have a buttload of good information for people who want to learn to use their nervous system and get out of what is depersonalization, derealization, and dissociation in a way that seriously is not good for the people who are going through it, because the brain is suffering. One, it doesn't delete or cancel our traditions. Those traditions and those cultures and those ways can coexist. In fact, today, the ones who are doing it right are integrating in their gatherings the right psychologists, the good mental health professionals. This is why there's an integration of sciences and spirituality. So there's no need to be doing little battlefields. And the people who are talking about the battlefields, they don't represent any threat, because it's all about lifestyle choices. I mean, I saw this lady, I was like, what the heck? She was talking about artificial intelligence and expressing her opinion about men watching, I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, so PORN. And she was telling the women, if your man is watching, AI is going to, it's an exchange of energy. And I'm like looking at this lady and I'm thinking, she has to be like my age or older. And I get it, we all have an opinion, but she's like serious. She's like monogamous. No, you're in a polyamorous now. No, the polyamorous is the deal. And I'm thinking, that's not, if they don't choose that, that's not true. You're making up shit out of your mouth. Like, what are you doing? So I didn't think I'd see this. I thought the 4D would actually move into 5D, but lo and behold, we have extremists and fanatics that are mystics, and they do have clairs. So that's something that is not meaningful in our lovely plane of earth. But for my 5D mystics, what's meaningful is that we know what they experience. And this is why I'm making one for all of you who have clairs. It is to be kind, compassionate, understanding. As always, you can resonate or empathize with their channeled guidance and things that they have going on, but you can also have serious conversations. I have done and continue to present the in-between, trauma-informed, somatic-informed, and then obviously understanding the experiences when they tell me about, some experience that has happened, doing my best to allow them to know that they're not alone, but that the stories that they're telling themselves and that they're watching are not just true, that they really want to disengage from thinking about chipping and all this stuff, because it's not something accurate. And these are people that did go to college. So I'm just saying, educated people who are believing in things because they don't know how to handle their clairs, if you will. So allow yourself to share some information and be compassionate and nice about it. Don't, be mean.